Today, let's create a survey using Coursesites Learning Management System. So first we want to think about what is the difference between a quiz and a survey? Why would we use one over the other? So in most cases and within most learning management systems, a quiz has to do with determining whether a student understood the course material or not. Did they achieve the learning outcomes? Each question typically has a point value, and then the overall grade is captured in the grade book. Now, survey, on the other hand, is not a graded activity. It's used to kind of get a sense of how students are doing, maybe give them a chance to take a look at and evaluate their own skill levels. And so it's not graded. It's not a graded activity, but it does appear in the grade book that it's been completed or not completed. The responses are anonymous. There's no name or student ID captured in a survey, so if you do want to capture that name or ID, then you have to build in a question specifically for that. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the Coursesites environment. And for the purpose of our survey today, we're going to create a pre-assessment survey. This is so that students can take a look at their skill set coming into the class and determine what they know and don't know, so they can focus on the areas that they have gaps in skills and knowledge. And a pre-assessment survey is also very helpful for instructors wanting to know what's going on with each and every student, where they need some additional supports and helps, and where they already have some expertise in the areas that you're going to be teaching. So because this is a pre-assessment survey, we're offering it to students just as they're brand new coming into the class. Therefore, we want to have it early in the classroom. So students coming into the class will go through a course description and then pop right into Module 1. And of course, what we're looking at right now is a course shell. It's just an empty course with placeholders. Now, where do I want to put my survey? I want to have it early in the course before they get started with any lessons. So let's say that they've gone through the module description, they've gone through kind of the instructions for getting started in this module, but we don't want them to start that lesson activity until they've taken that pre-assessment. So the pre-assessment survey will go right here before the actual lesson begins. Okay, so let's create an assessment. The first thing that we want to do when we are getting ready to create an assessment is to be sure to develop it in a text editor such as Microsoft Word. We don't want to be developing in, and this is typical in most course development activities, you want to develop stuff in a text editor where you can store it, think about it, easily modify it. It's not so easy to update and change things once you're starting to build your course. So again, got our text editing, our Microsoft Word version of the survey here, and let me briefly go through it with you. So we want to tie everything we do in designing a course to our learning outcomes. So in this case, we remind ourselves of what the learning outcomes are. In this survey, I have a fictitious class about e-learning. So students will be looking at e-learning practices, instructional design methodology, and technologies around e-learning. Okay, so in the survey, we're going to want to have a description of what students are going to be doing and then instructions for getting started. Then we have our actual questions. In this case, I only have 4 questions. It's just to get you guys going here. And so remember that we said that surveys are anonymous. If you want to capture their names, you need to add a field where they're going to enter their first and last name. And then we have a yes/no question, we have a narrative question, and we have a multiple selection question. So these are a variety of the types of questions that you can ask using a survey. All right, I have my survey ready to go in Microsoft Word. Let's go ahead and start building it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is create an assessment on our lesson page. You do want to go to the page where you want to create and house that lesson activity or assessment. I'm in Module 1, as I said. We want to put the pre-assessment in Module 1. I go to the Assessments pull-down menu, and I have several choices. What I want to do is create a survey. And I want to create a new survey. And I'm going to give it a name, Pre-Assessment Survey. Okay, this is where the hard work that you did in creating your survey in Microsoft Word comes to fruition. Here I am, and I can go ahead and now pull my description from the Word document. I copy it and I paste it right here into my pre-assessment survey in Coursesites Learning Management System. It also gives me an instructions field which I can use. If I wanted to, I could just use this field as my instruction field, but I'm going to go ahead and break it out because they do it. You have a lot of flexibility here when you're building courses. So I'll go ahead and follow their format. All right, simple as that. I've got my description and instructions in place. Now I'm going to click Submit. Okay, so far so good. Now it says this test has no questions. Create questions on the fly or add them from other resources. So we're going to create them. My first question, if we have a look at our Word document, is please provide your first and last name. Well, that's a fill-in question. So we're going to go ahead and create a fill-in question. I go here to create question, and I don't want necessarily a fill in the blank. I think I'm going to go with a short answer instead. So you can play with these as you get familiar with the tool. Now the question title is strictly for the instructor in the background, so that you can, when you go back and look at a bank of questions, the question title helps you decide what those questions actually are without having to go more deeply into the questions. So this is going to be the name, and the question text is please enter your first, whoops, what am I doing? I have it right here. Let me go get that. There we go. Please provide your first and last name. And there we are. And now I'm going to say Submit. I don't need to worry about. I can set the number of rows that will display in the field. I really only need one row. And there we go. And I'm going to say Submit. All right. Please provide your first and last name. There's my short answer question right there. Okay, the next question is going to be, let's take a look. Have you completed an online course before? And that would be answered with a yes or no, right? Okay, so if I create a question, it's kind of like a true false, but this question isn't answered by a true or false, it's answered by a yes or no. So there is an option here called either or, and I'm going to go ahead and create an either or question. This one is online class, and I'm going to go over and copy my content in my Word document, and I'm going to paste it over here. There we go. And it says, what answer choice do you want? Yes, no, agree, disagree, right, wrong, true, false, and I do want the yes, no, and I'm going to submit that. Okay, so far so good. New question. What's our next format? Please describe experiences that you have. So this is a narrative. We want the students to complete a narrative. So our next question is going to be a short answer. Yeah, let's do short answer. Okay, so this one is describe background. Okay, again, the question title is for the instructor. It will not be seen by the student. And copy and paste that here. And okay, please describe any experiences. How many rows do I want to give them now? I think I'll give them, I'm going to say give them some 6 rows. Give them chance to really describe their background and give the instructor a good idea of what they know and don't know, okay? And I will submit. Now, regarding submit and create another means submit this question and create another short answer or whatever type of question you're in. So I don't want to create another short answer, so I'm just going to say submit, and that brings me back to the general quiz page. Okay. My last question is a multiple choice, and it's not really multiple choice, it's multiple selection. Describe your experience with e-learning technologies. Check all that apply. That means you can check as many of these as apply. So it's not multiple choice. You're not selecting one right answer. You're selecting whichever ones are appropriate for you. So I want to create a multiple answer question. Here we go. And this one is technology. And I'm going to go in and select that text from my Microsoft Word document. Whoops, didn't copy properly. Let's try that again. Okay, get rid of that one. Okay, so now, how many questions do I have? I have 4, or answers rather. Okay, so here I am in the multiple selection options, and I only have 4 answers. And I just begin with answer 1, copy it, and paste it, and okay. And then the next one, answer 2. There we go, and it's bringing over that Microsoft Word formatting. Let's see if I can clean that up. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the rest and clean this up a little bit, and we'll be right back. Okay, I've added the last of my questions, and I'm going to go ahead and say submit. And here is my question and the answers, the 4 answers for the multiple selection. Right, we're done now. So we're going to go ahead and click the OK button, and that brings us back to the survey. And this is the survey that we want to now add to our Module 1 page. We've created the survey, we're going to select it and submit it. And now it brings us back to the survey options. We're not quite done yet. We have to go ahead and determine if we want this survey to be available right now to students, for how long, and so forth. So let's go down the survey options. We do want to show the survey description to students before they begin the survey, and we also want to show them the instructions before they begin the survey. We do not want to open it in a new window. We'll just keep it right there in the frame that you're already in. Do we want to make the link available now? Yes, we do. We don't need to add an announcement for this survey, and we want to give students multiple attempts so they can go back in and change their mind and update it and so forth. And there's no limit to the attempts. Okay, we are going to say forced completion. That means that they have to complete every question. And there's no timer. I'm not going to time this, and we're going to display it starting today. And okay. And no password. So no due date, a lot of choices here. So you can play with all those. Now, after submission, this is really important, and kind of, I had to actually get the Blackboard tech support people to help me out with this one. So after submission, we want them to see all the answers that they submitted, and that it's important to check both of these fields, and I'll show you why later. So this is the after they submit. They're going to be able to see all their answers that they submitted. Okay, alrighty, there we go. Let's go ahead and submit that. Now in Blackboard, all new content is put at the bottom of the page, and we're going to go ahead and drag it up. Remember, we said we wanted it before the lesson activity. Here we are. There's our pre-assessment survey, and let's take a look at that as if we were a student. I'm going to go in here to edit mode and turn it off. All right, this is what a student is viewing in your classroom. When I turn edit off, it's the student view. It becomes a student view. All right, here's my survey. I'm going to click on it and see what that looks like. It has a description and please answer the questions, and I'm going to begin the survey. Okay, first question, please provide your first and last name. First name, last name, okay. And I'm going to save all the answers at the end, so I'm not going to save each one individually. Have you completed an online class before? Yes. Please describe your experience in developing. Here is my experience. And then describe your experience with e-learning technologies. Check all that apply. I'm just going to check a couple here and save and submit. So that saves all the answers, and I'm going to submit them. And it says that I've completed my survey. Now, when I click the OK button, it shows me my answers. And here's my selected answer. And my selected answer is yes in number 2. Here's my answer in number 3. And here are my selected answers in question 4. So if I hadn't selected those two questions, those two check boxes under submission, I would not have been able to see my answers. So it's really important you do select those. Okay, so there you go. And that brings us back to the survey. One last thing I'm going to share is that the Coursesites tech support is really great. They're very helpful. They're incredibly knowledgeable. Typically, they're not long hold times. And if you're up against a particularly sticky situation and you can't find it online, can't find the answer online when you do a search for it, then go ahead and give them a call. Don't waste too much time trying to figure something out if it's just not coming to you. And they may ask, if it's a especially sticky situation that they can't talk you through, they may ask to share your screen with you. They have a tool that they can go in and look at your screen, see what's going on, and help you out. If you're not comfortable with that, that's fine, but just know that that is an option, and I've had them share my screen with me and help me out with some stuff, and it's been real helpful. Thank you so much. I hope that was something that helped you get through developing your own survey, and we'll be seeing you online. Bye now.